Among the great Hindu epics, Ramayana is one of the greatest. Here, Lord Rama is believed to be the key character, along with whom Lakshmana is also highly important. He is the highly devotional and inseparable brother of Lord Rama. Lakshmana's loyalty, honesty, along with his short temper is known to all, and not having him would be equal to missing an arm for the Lord himself. Thus, without him, the great war of Ramayana couldn't have been won. He was a great character, having great qualities but is lesser known. Lakshmana is an avatar of Sheshnaga, the serpent upon whom Lord Vishnu rests in Kshirosagar, which is the ocean of milk. Sheshnaga is king of all the Nagas. He holds all the planets of the universe on its hood. Sheshnag and Lord Vishnu are inseparable. Lord Vishnu is often depicted as resting on Sheshnaga. When Lord Vishnu descended on earth as Rama, Sheshnag accompanied him as Lakshmana. This is the reason why we see a serpent sent by Ravana to destroy Mithila running away after seeing Lakshmana. Lakshmana once said that since he is a younger brother to Rama, each command by his elder brother had to be obeyed by him. This is the reason why his wish to become the elder brother was fulfilled in the next incarnation. While Lord Vishnu became the younger Lord Krishna, Sheshnag became the elder brother Balarama. Lakshmana was an incarnation of Sheshnaga, and Sheshnaga is inseparable from Vishnu. So when Vishnu descended on earth as Rama, Sheshnaga incarnated as Lakshmana. When Vishnu later reincarnated as Krishna, Sheshnaga accompanied him as his elder brother Balarama. During Rama's exile, Lakshmana decided to stay awake for 14 years. He requested the goddess of sleep, Nidra Devi, not to give him sleep for 14 years so that he can be awake and guard Rama and Sita in the forest. The goddess was so impressed with his dedication, she granted him the boon. This is the reason why Lakshmana is also known as Gudakesha. This was a very strong condition which made him capable of killing Meghananda. Meghananda had a boon that he can only be killed by a Gudakesha, a person who has defeated sleep. Lakshmana was a true gentleman. Even during the exile, he stayed with his brother Rama and sister-in-law Sita, but he never looked at her face. He only gazed at her feet even when they spoke. When Sugriva showed them the jewelry thrown by Sita and Ravana was carrying her to Lanka, Lakshmana could only identify Sita's anklet. He said he had seen them while lying his head on her feet in worship. He was not able to recognize any other jewelry as he has never presumed to closely look at her. After the battle, sage Agastya came to Ayodhya. The sage said Meghananda was not an ordinary demon. He was a conqueror of Indraloka. He also possessed the three ultimate weapons of Trimurti, Brahmastra, Narayanastra and Pashupastra. So, he could only be killed by someone who has not eaten, slept or seen the face of a woman for 14 years. People were surprised at how Lakshmana could fulfill these conditions. So Lakshmana explained that he didn't sleep for 14 years to guard his brother and sister-in-law at night. Before going to the forest for 14 years, Queen Sumitra told him to guard Rama and Sita while they were asleep. So he fulfilled his promise. He didn't eat for 14 years because Rama gave him food, but never asked him to eat it. Lakshmana, in his loyalty, believed that he was born to serve Lord Rama, and so he never did anything without being told. He had never seen the face of any women during the exile. Though he was staying with Rama and Sita, he never even saw Sita's face. When Rama realized that he had fulfilled his duties on earth, it was time for him to return to Vaikuntha. Rama invited Yama, but Yama put a condition that their conversation should be confidential and anyone who entered the room should be punished by a death sentence. So Rama entrusted Lakshmana to guard the room so that no one could enter and listen to their confidential conversation. Meanwhile, sage Durvasa came and expressed his desire to meet Rama. At first, Lakshmana refused politely, but Durvasa insisted and threatened to curse Ayodhya and set it on fire. To save Ayodhya, Lakshmana decided to intercept the meeting. After the incident, in order to fulfill Rama's promise, he went to the banks of river Saryu and gave up his life. However, Lakshmana's death was necessary before Rama's death, as he was an incarnation of Sheshnaga and he had to return to Vaikuntha before Vishnu could return to Vaikuntha. Lakshmana's love and devotion for Rama was second to none. Before the exile, Rama tries to convince his own wife and tells her that she could stay back in the kingdom with her in-laws if she wishes. Rama does not even bring this topic of discussion to convince Lakshmana to stay back because Rama knew that Lakshmana will definitely follow him to the exile anyway. Lakshmana was immensely loved by Rama too. When Lakshmana was injured on the battlefield and almost died, Rama wept and confessed that he could live without the riches in Ayodhya, but he could not live without his beloved Sita, but he could not live without his brother Lakshmana on his side. Lakshmana constantly talked to Rama after he got depressed with Sita's disappearance. The Valmiki Ramayana quotes many occasions during the exile when Rama incessantly cried, asking trees, flowers, plants, and animals in the jungle about Sita's whereabouts, and often fainted on the ground, depressed and agonized, while Lakshmana took the role of the caretaker and counseled and entrusted him with words of motivation. Rama was not just a brother of Lakshmana, but also a father and a guru. Vishwamitra initiated Rama into many astras and shastras and became Rama's guru. Rama in turn gave them to Lakshmana and became the preceptor of Lakshmana. He is depicted as the man with unwavering loyalty, love and commitment to his elder brother. Through times of joy and adversities alike,